Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Bahamas Project Management Community. We are so thrilled to have with us today Coach Ricardo Miller, all the way from Texas. And he is going to be presenting today on learning to live life effectively. So for those of you who do not know anything about Ricardo Miller, shame on you. He is a well-known Bahamian, I'm going to say celebrity because he has fans that I'm aware of now. And so he is known for his amazing coaching abilities and being able to guide persons along their journey of living life effectively. His bio says that he is the founder and CEO of Effective Living Life Management Agency, which specializes in life management coaching, personal development training, brand development, and corporate training. Ricardo coaches and guides professional individuals who have a serious passion and who are committed to improving their lives and businesses. For decades, Ricardo has been equipping people of all ages, guiding them with the ultimate goal of creating a life they don't need to take a vacation from. In recognition of his 20 years of contributing to the nation's youth in the Bahamas, the government declared October 11th, which is Ricardo's birthday, as National Children's Ministry Day. In November 2018, he was bestowed the highest honor of being inducted into his former high school's Hall of Fame, which is also my alma mater, Bailey. Ricardo Miller is a Renaissance man. He is the host of the popular weekly radio talk show, Effective Living with Ricardo Miller, on Fishbowl Radio Network every Monday night at 7 p.m. As a social media influencer, he reaches thousands of people worldwide daily. His passion to train and develop those seeking to enhance their lives and the lives of the people they serve extends to his role as a highly requested keynote speaker, his one-on-one coaching, group life coaching, in-person events, and his annual Effective Living Life Management Retreat, and the Influencer Summit, the largest meeting of its kind in the Bahamas. Ricardo is the author of 7 books, including his most recent bestseller, Effective Living, Your Guide to Creating a Life You Don't Need to Take a Vacation From, and a popular guest on national and international radio shows and TV programs. Ricardo Miller is dedicated to sharing the message of discovering your greatest purpose and optimizing your highest potential. Please welcome our guest speaker for this evening, Coach Ricardo Miller.
Wow, Andrea, that was an introduction. I was like, who is she talking about? Who is she talking about? This is the moment I need to tell my mother, I hope you're tuning in, mother, and listen to this introduction. Your boy made it. He's doing it, but it's a delight to be here. And you and your team, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about my passion, and that is the concept of living life effectively. Today, we're going to dive into some practical things. If applied, will make a tremendous difference in the life of the listeners. For more than 25 years now, I've had the privilege of using the information that I'm teaching. And so this is not just information that is learned, but this is information that has been worked out through time, through my life. And so I want you guys to put your questions in the chat. And at the end, I will prepare myself to answer as many of those questions. As a matter of fact, I like questions. I love questions, but I've been told that I'm a pretty simple presenter. The information that I share is easy to understand. And so a lot of times I don't get a lot of questions, and that hurt my feeling. And I sort of like don't sleep well. And I'm shy, and I'm needing the questions to come, people. I need y'all to give me my questions. So go ahead. As we are talking today, I want you to make sure that if you have any questions, please feel free. All jokes aside, I love questions though, and it really does enhance the presentation at the end. With that said, learning to live life effectively. What a subject. What a subject. Let me start by simply saying I was born and raised in the Bahamas, educated through the entire system, problematic kid, left school with an attendance certificate, one of the most problematic boys in the school year calendar of that year at my high school. And then God changed my life. And I learned some things over the years that I'm proud to teach and to live today. And I call it living life effectively. Yep, I call it living life effectively. And so effective living is all about understanding how you're supposed to live rather than how you're living. It is possible to have lived a long time and still not live right. Let me say it again. It is possible to have lived a long time and not live right. Most of us don't realize we're a product of our environment. We're a product of the education that has been taught to us that could be limited. And we're a product of what our parents have said and have done, our community. I mean, it's just so much that has been framing us to be who we are. And so it's possible to have reached a certain age in your life where you start to believe what you believe. And because you've believed it for so long and know other people who believe what you believe for so long that you think it's right. Okay? And so the Bible teaches this. I'm a minister as well. The Bible says the truth will set you free. Okay? The truth will set you free. And I'm of the belief that there's a right way and then there's a wrong way to live. Okay, there's a right way to live and then there's a wrong way to. How do I know what's a right way and a wrong way to live? The Bible says you'll know them by their fruits. The results of what you're producing is an indicator. How do you know if you're doing well in school? Your grades determine that. That's how you know in school. Okay, well, here's the deal. A lot of people, we've gone to school and they've structured school to be able to determine how well you're doing in school. A lot of times we take on jobs and they've established ways to identify how well we're doing on our jobs. Very few people have taken the time to structure themselves in a way to be able to identify, I've been doing this for a while, but how well am I doing? I've been doing this for a while. I've been living for a while. I am now 21. I'm now 31. I'm now 41. I'm now 51. I'm living, but am I living correctly? Am I living in proportion to my potential? One of the things that I teach is the greatest pursuit of anyone should be to identify, why am I here? Why am I here? In my book, I talk about the big question, which is the why. The why is connected to everything that's related to your life. Your why is connected to your vision. Your vision is connected to your passion. Your passion is connected to your energy that you bring forth to a day. If you don't have no energy, it's possible that you don't have any passion. If you don't have any passion, it's probably because you don't have any vision. And maybe you don't have any vision because you haven't identified your why. It all starts with the why. And so today, I want to dive into an idea that helps us all to accept that we should not just be merely living. Do you know that studies reveal that Monday is the most frustrated day of the week? It is the most dreaded day of the week. Mondays are the most dreaded days of the week. Why is Monday the most dreaded days of the week? Because people have to go to jobs they don't like. Work in environments that they don't even want to be in. The unfortunate thing, Omar, is that we got a degree to work on a job we don't like, only to find ourselves hoping that we could do the 25, 30 years to retire from a job that we can't stand, only to find ourselves retired and sick with high blood pressure and depression and all kinds of ailment that comes from the root cause of our being out of place. When you're not in the right place, you're like a fish out of water. When you're not in the right place, you're like a fish out of water. When a fish is out of water, it looks stupid. There's nothing beautiful about a fish out of water because it's out of its element. But when you're in your element, you're like Larry Bird in 1989. You don't have a problem shooting 1,000 shots a day because you believe you were born for the court. You're like Michael Jordan in 92, where, you know what I'm saying? Bringing it home, all right? You're like LeBron James in 2010, right? You're like Michael Jackson at the height. You're like Beyonce. It's like a fish in water. The beauty emerges. And this is what a fish does. It just looks great inside of the water. But you take that fish out of the water and it starts and start flopping. And that's how people act on Monday mornings. And that's why more heart attacks happen on Monday morning. More fish is taken out of water in that of, I'm using that analogy as people, revealing that they're not where they want to be. So 2020 revealed a lot. A lot of people realized they were paying 30-year mortgages in homes that they didn't even know how to stay within for a month. There were people who got for better, for rich, for what is it? For better, for worse, for rich or for poor, till death do us part. They married the person at the altar only for 2020 to reveal they couldn't stay in the same house with them for 60 days. There were persons who birthed, wives brought children into the world who didn't know how to be in the same house with their kids for 30, 40, 80, 100 days. They felt punished. It has to be that at the very core, there's something wrong with this. How have you built your life? Because when I talk about living life effectively, I want you to know this. Effective living is a life that is built. If you're taking notes, you want to write that down. Effective living is a life that is built. It doesn't automatically happen. If it would have automatically happened, then everybody would be living life effectively. You have to be intentional about constructing the life you desire. Okay? You have to be intentional about constructing the life you desire. Your life is not going to come together just because your desire is to have a great life. Everybody desires to have better than what they're currently experiencing. But very few people ultimately ever experience their desire because of practical tips that they fail to realize on their journey to living life at its fullest. So what I want to talk about today is, I want to talk about how do I bring myself to a higher level of living to a point where I am getting up with determination to say, I'm going to make it a great day. I'm going to make it a great day. And I'm going to go to bed with satisfaction. Being able to say, whoo, I gave it all that I could. And should I not wake up tomorrow, the record would have stated that I lived a full life. Because the truth be told, all of us are going to die. None of us are going to be here forever. But the question will be asked, how did he live? How did she live? Did he give his best to humanity? Did he give his best? Did she give her best to humanity? So you got to get to the point where you realize, I'm going to have to do the work to become the person that I was destined to be. And it is possible, y'all. It is possible to have lived a long time and not discovered your why. I'm here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas, and in Arlington, the largest enrollment in UTA, the University of Arlington, over the last 10 years, the largest enrollment at the university every year consecutively over the last 10 years was undecided. Undecided. These were people who were preparing for continual education beyond that of high school, but still ain't sure what they wanted to do. There's a number of studies that are out there right now that is indicating that the vast majority of people, I think it's up to 40% of persons after they've gotten their degree still don't use the degree they went to school for. Still don't use. I've known more than a dozen people who they owe more in student loan than they make within a year, and they still ain't doing what they went to get the student loan for. Very interesting, right? So with that said, I think it's very important that we start asking ourselves some honest and deep questions that simply bring us to a place where I don't want to live the common way. I want to live the exceptional way. I want to live where life is starting to work for me, rather than life is working against me, but I look like I have a lot going for me, but truly at the very core, I don't have a lot going for me because I really don't like me. It is impossible for you to say I'm living life effectively and not like you. It is impossible to live life effectively and not like you. You got to get to the point where you start constructing your life in a way where you start to like every bit of you. So here's a couple of things you're going to have to do. Number one, you're going to have to examine your mindset. You're going to have to examine your mindset. The Bible teaches, as a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever you think about all day long, you're becoming. The unfortunate thing is, most of us have not taken the time to even examine what we're thinking, because we're allowing a lot of other things to be said, which is now oversaturating our minds. So our minds are being programmed, not by our intentional engagement to ensure that we're getting right content. Our mindset is being developed without being monitored. So a lot of people are just barely allowing themselves to be appropriately influenced. They're allowing themselves to be influenced by anything that's played on the radio, anything that was shown on television, anything that's on social media. And you got to realize you got to guard your mind. You got to develop your mind. You have to discipline your mind. You have to renew your mind. You have to create the mindset that is going to be in direct proportion of who you're becoming. When I left high school, I couldn't read, barely could read, right? I was a problematic kid. It wasn't that I didn't know how to learn. It was that I learned different. And it took me some time to realize that even though I left school with an attendance certificate, didn't do well, it wasn't that the school wasn't teaching, it was that I wasn't interested in learning. Okay? There were a lot of people who left school doing exceptionally well with the education they received from that same school that I went to for 12 years and walked out not having the information that I needed from that institution. Now, here's the deal. Next year will mark 30 years. Next year will mark 30 years. And in 2018, to be inducted in that same school hall of fame, to realize that I made a commitment to not have the mindset that I left that campus with, and worked on my mindset on a daily basis. Over time, I'm now a new creature, a new person operating at a different level, all because my mind is right. If you want to live life effectively, you're going to have to get the right mindset about life, which then, write this down, you're going to have to unlearn what you should have never learned in the beginning. You're going to have to unlearn what you should have never learned in the beginning. And the challenge with that is this. The older you get, the more difficult it is to uproot an idea that has been planted in your mind that you have held on to for a while and actually believe was true. But now you've identified that you have to do something different. But the work that is necessary, most people don't want to get to that point. So you have to now address your mindset. You got to address your mindset. What you think about all day long, you become. What you focus on the majority of the time increases in your life. So your mindset matters. You got to start thinking, okay, what's influencing me? What's influencing my mind? That's the first thing. The second thing, after you start to work on your mindset, here's the next the next determining factor that influences your journey to living life effectively, your association. Your association. It is a known fact that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time around. The unfortunate thing is human beings are social creatures, and we have this thing, once we become close to someone, we have this ride or die thing. Okay? And the ride or die thing is good because it's good to know that I have your back and it's good to know you have my back. But if you're not interested in going anywhere and I'm interested in going somewhere, Houston, we have a problem. We have a problem because if I want to go somewhere and you don't want to go somewhere and both of us are saying ride or die, somebody is going to have to either go or somebody's going to end up staying, and which is going to ultimately affect how you show up in the world. I believe that it is very important that you examine the people that's around you. It is possible for you to be in a home that's not the best home for you after a while, because you could find out being Joseph. Those around you aren't for you, but you have a dream. You have a desire. You have something that's so bigger than you that you mention it to them and they throw you in a hole. It could start from your home. It could be a sibling, that of Cain and Abel, where one brother killed another. So this is hard conversation. When we talk about association, we talk about making tough decisions. I want to live life to the fullest, but can I become strong enough to make a decision that actually disconnect me from someone who's been in my life for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? And I'm not talking about hating someone. I'm just talking about recognizing that you're not best for me. And once I learn that you're not good for me, I need to have the discipline, the strength, the power to be able to disconnect myself from you. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people haven't done the work to make sure that they're strong enough to do that. I'm 45 years old and I still struggle with that because I like people. But now I've gotten to a place where I like my future better than I like the approval of people. I like the idea of becoming who I was born to be rather than the thumbs up of the few people who want me to stay where they think I should always be. I want to be what God wants me to be. I want to go where God wants me to go. Ultimately, I want to die empty. With that said, I have to constantly examine those around me. So here's what I teach. Growing trees lose leaves. It ain't personal. It's purpose. It ain't personal, it's purpose. Growing trees lose leaves. There are three types of people that come into your life. Three types of people. There are those who come for a reason, a season, and eternity. And once you realize that everybody who comes in your life, they have a purpose, but that purpose may not be eternal. There are people who come for a reason and they show up for a year, a month, 2 years, a few years. Then there are people who come for a season. Whenever that season ends, they disappear. And then there are people you will know them forever. You're going to know them forever, and that's a blessing. You are glad that you know them, and you're glad that all through your journey, you've been able to be connected with them. As a matter of fact, I have a guy, one of my smartest friends. I call him my smartest Bahamian friend here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Whenever people try to challenge my intellect, Andrea, and they write an email questioning whatever, and want to have a conversation with me, because he has 2 PhDs, I often tell them, give my friend a call. He's on my board, and he will speak on my behalf. He's brilliant, okay? He's brilliant, but here's the deal. We talk but once a quarter. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we catch to talk maybe once a month. And it's a blessing whenever we're able to connect, because we're both busy individuals, but we got each other's back. He's good people, I'm good people. I think together we've been friends from we were boys parking groceries at City Market in Nassau. Okay? We've been lifelong friends, but we don't see each other every day. And then there are others who are closer and more connected, but at the end of the day, I have to look at my circle. Who are you connected to? Who's helping? Who's hurting? Write this down. On your journey to living life effectively, someone is assigned to help you. On your journey to living life effectively, someone is assigned to help you. There's a statement that goes like this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So someone's assigned to help you. Now here's the trick. Here's the trick, Omar. Someone is also assigned to hurt you. Someone is assigned to help you. Someone is assigned to hurt you. Someone is assigned to bless you. Someone is assigned to curse you. Someone is assigned to push you forward. Someone is assigned to pull you back. And here's the deal. The older you get, the better you have to become in identifying who's assigned to help and who's assigned to hurt. And have you ever met anybody, Omar? I'm talking to Omar because I can see your name on the screen, Omar. Watch this, watch it. Here's the deal. Have you ever met anybody who would say something like this? People always using me. I just feel taken advantage of. Right? And you got to ask yourself, are you not learning who's assigned to hurt? Usually you need to become more skilled in identifying who's pulling you back rather than pushing you forward. Association. Everybody that comes into your life is not for you. Everybody who comes into your life is not against you. But this is one of the worst statements I've ever heard anybody say. This is one of the worst statements I've ever heard anybody say, and that is, I don't trust people. I'm a loner. I don't need nobody. Dumbest statement in the world. I don't need nobody. Here's why. The greater your assignment, the more people you're going to need. The more you're called to do in life, the more people you're going to need on your journey to fulfilling whatever you're called to do. So if you don't believe in people, you will automatically become limited. What has happened in the life of someone who says, I don't need anyone, and nobody has ever done anything for me, and I don't trust people, that person is hurt. That person has been bruised. That person has been affected. And you got to get to the point where you realize, on my journey to living life effectively, you're going to like this. You're going to need somebody. On your journey to living life effectively, you're going to need somebody. Now, here's the deal. Well, I don't get along with people well. If you don't get along with people well, it will affect your destiny. You could be the most gifted in the room, but the least recognized, because you don't understand the dynamics of how people play a part in purpose being fulfilled. If you are going to be who you were created to be, you're going to need somebody. As a matter of fact, the greater the assignment on your life, the more people you're going to need. If you want to be a president of the United States, the campaign, the national campaign, you're going to have to run. If you're wanting to be a member of parliament in the Bahamas, the campaign structure is going to demand you're going to need people. If you're wanting a chain of grocery stores, I'm talking about if you're, just a matter of fact, to educate your child, to build a nice home, you're going to need a plumber. You're going to need a maintenance guy. You need somebody to come and do the yard. You're going to need somebody. So failing to understand the whole dynamics of association, here's what's also in association: network, community, tribe. If you're alone, you're not doing life right. Oh my goodness. Did I just say that loud? If you're alone, you're not doing life right. Almost 8 billion people on the planet. To not have friends is to sabotage your potential from ever being maximized. I don't have any friends. You're doing something wrong. Number 3. Number 1 was your mindset. Number 2 was your association. Number 3, your environment. Your environment. Years ago, one of the first things that I decided to do after I realized I wanted more than what I was currently experiencing, one of the best decisions I made was to join a Toastmasters club. Best decision I made. I was a Toastmaster for more than 10 years. In that Toastmasters club, I believe I was the least among everyone in that club. Only to look back now, and our Deputy Prime Minister in the Bahamas, he sat next to me in that Toastmasters club. Environment. Chester Cooper was a member of that club. Marlon Johnson, financial industry, he was in that Toastmasters club. Franklin Wilson, Frankie Wilson's son, was inside of that Toastmasters club. Okay, I can go on and on of the number of people that were in that Toastmasters club. Now, here's the deal. I was a kid, the only person in that Toastmasters club at the time that didn't have a degree, didn't have a high school diploma, didn't even have a car, rode my bike there. This is what I teach my son and all of my coaching clients. It's impossible to put your hands in a bucket of glue without some of that glue sticking to you. It's impossible to find yourself in a good environment over time without that good environment positively affecting you. So because I made a commitment to find myself in some of the best environments, I am who I am today because of the environments I chose to be in. I am who I am today because of the environments I chose to walk away from. Was it easy being in environments that I didn't look like I automatically fitted in? Yeah. There were many places that I found myself walking into where I didn't feel like I belonged. But because I knew the importance of environment, I made a commitment to constantly connect to a more enriched environment. Environment matters on your journey to living life effectively. Last but not least, your past experiences. Your past experiences. You have to make a commitment to take a look at what has happened in your life up to this point and ask yourself, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly that's related to what has happened in my life? Most people want to forget, and most people have forgotten what has happened in their life, but your past experiences have made you who you are, good, bad, or indifference. There's so much that has happened in our past. If we were to go back and look at, we would learn that, listen, I wasn't taught right. So now what I need to do, I need to learn how to learn. I need to learn how to listen. I need to learn how to appreciate. I need to learn how to embrace. I need to learn how to love. But watch this. Looking back at your past can help you structure your life in a way to ensure that your future is brighter than your past, because you're prepared to correct what was done in your past that should not have been done, but now you're aware of. Because you're wanting a better future, it is so much important that you, one, study your past and any and everything related to your past. One of the things I've been studying lately is my past and everything that I could find out in relations to my family's past. I have two uncles that are of 70 plus. Both are dealing with cancer right now. I have a grandfather who died from cancer. But guess what? Because I've studied our past and our history at 45, guess what I now can put a good look, search, and be conscious of? What are some of the damages, dangers, and issues that is related to me or my family that can affect me moving forward and my son? Don't be afraid of your past. Study your past. Don't be afraid. Now, moving forward, it is super important that you correct what you have done in that of knowing what you have done. There are a lot of people who just, I don't want to think about what has happened in the past. I just want to correct and move forward. Well, you can't correct some things until you are aware of what initially happened that has created you to be who you are today. Why am I this way? So there are people, Andrea, who would say things like, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I am. Well, the truth be told, that's the way you've become accustomed to being over time. And what has happened is, whatever you have said in your mind over time, you reinforced it and you've held on to it to make that you, and you are more than what you have conditioned yourself to be up to this point. I am more than who I am today, but I have to be prepared to put in the work to become who I'm capable of becoming tomorrow. But I have to decide not to settle on knowing that I am better than I was last year. I'm better than I was 10 years ago. I'm better than I was 20 years ago. That's not enough. The question is, can I be better than I am right now? So while I'm looking back at my past, I'm realizing I have 7 books. But none of them has hit the New York Times bestseller yet. So I want a bestseller in me. I'm 45 years old and they just introduced space tourism. And I want to be 55, 60 years old being one of the Bahamians going up, if not the first. Because now I've come to learn and accept that you don't have to be an astronaut going up no more. You remember when you were growing up and it was only astronauts go to space? Well, if you got that money, come on. If you got that money, you can go up. I want to be able to go up being the first one to go up without a diploma. Come on. So let's look at this. Your past experiences have made you who you are up to this point. I don't like who I am, Ricardo. I don't like a lot of things about me. Take the time to study. Why? I remember going to school and they I got suspended 3 times and they should have expelled me, but I figured out how to not get expelled, okay? And I got suspended 3 times because they called me big head. The fellas will say something like, get your big head from around here, but get your big head. And here's the deal. You couldn't just call me big head and get away with it like that. That's not gonna work, okay? I had to represent. And so I got suspended 3 times, not 3, it was not all together, but ultimately I can remember at least 3 times. Now here's the deal. Had someone told me early on my head was nicely sized, I don't think I should have taken offense to that because I do have a nice full-size head. Come on, right? If someone had told me your nose is full-size nose, I could have just embraced my nose from I was young, you know. But the truth is, I felt bad when, you know. And then I remember one time, I got to say this before I'm done, okay? I'm almost done. My time's almost up. Here's the deal. I can remember R.M. Bailey. Before I got to R.M. Bailey, I was starting to feel myself in R.M. Bailey. But in C.H. Reeve, I was weak, man. I was horrible in C.H. Reeve, okay? Going up the stairs in C.H. Reeve, I remember the first time a girl looked at me and she said, "Ooh, you got dimples." I was like, bam! There you go, first compliment. I was but in the 9th grade. I mean, Jesus Christ. It waited until 9th grade to give me a compliment. This girl gave me this compliment. I had dimples. And so I got home, called my brother, and I was in the mirror looking, smiling. And my brother walked in, he said, "What you doing?" I said, "Bro, smile." He smiled, he don't have no, I said, "You ain't got no dimples, bro." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Bro, you're gonna have a hard time, bro. Girls like dimples. You're gonna have a hard time." He never really had no hard time, but it was one of those moments where I had one of those first compliments that really made a difference in my life. Here's the deal. I was 35 years old when I looked in the mirror for the first time. I had a son already, and I'm looking in the mirror at 30. I was 35, 30, 33, 35. And I looked at myself and I said, "You know, your head is pretty big." 35 years old. Jesus Christ, why did I wait so long to be able to say that to myself? Right? And then I had to start to become aware. Hey man, if I don't like me, who's gonna like me? If I don't embrace me, who's gonna embrace me? At the end of the day, someone wish they had what I have in that of all of my indifferences. I'm still favored. I'm still blessed. I'm still beloved. I'm okay. I'm okay if a lot of people don't feel like I'm okay. I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, okay? Everybody ain't gotta like me. I like me, right? But I was 30 plus years old when I came into that revelation. Now here's what I believe. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be living a long time and still not embrace a lot of truths about yourself. Truths about money, truths about people, truths about God, truth about the job, truth about community, just a lot of truths. So as I bring this home, I have 5 pillars that I believe we should build ourselves on for effective living. 5 pillars. It's faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. 5 pillars. Faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. If you don't take control of those things, which you have the power to take control of those things, you have to be responsible for those things. If you say, "Ricardo, my life is not doing well in those 5 areas," then you have nobody to blame. And you have to now decide to take on the responsibility moving forward, because this live experience is here to equip and challenge you to do some things better so you can end this year. It's 99 days before 2022, okay? It's 99 days. So what you got to tell yourself is faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Now, effective living at its best is you maximizing all 5 of those things. Let me say that again. Effective living at its best is you say faith. Where are you with God? However your view of God is, where are you with understanding that life is not in and of itself you? Where are you in your faith walk or your faith journey? That's number 1. Number 2, family. Family is not only those who are your blood, but family is your tribe, your community, your support system, your network. Do you have one? Or do you find yourself being one that I don't have anybody, it's just me? The 3rd one, finances. Well, I don't have no money. Why you don't have no money? There's no shortage of money in the earth. I've been to more than 19 countries around the world, and one of the things I've come to discover is there are people doing well in every country on the planet. Someone's doing well. Someone has figured out how to make life work for them in some of the poorest countries in the world. Someone, I didn't say everyone. Someone has figured it out. So you got to figure out the money thing. The Bible says money answers all things pertaining to life. You got to get that money thing on lock. Then watch this, fitness. Your body is the vehicle God uses to fulfill your assignment. When your body stops, your life stops. And literally, like when your body expires, let me say it that way, your life is up. It's time. It's over. The truth is, none of us know the day or the hour. This could be my last life. I've done enough life though to make sure I last for eternity outside of my physical life. They're gonna be listening to me forever on YouTube. Praise the Lord. Ricardo is gone, but that big head boy is still talking on YouTube. The reality of it is, here's the deal. One day, this body is gonna stop and it's going to expire. Now, here's the deal. We have the ability to prolong or to minimize some of what happens through this body. So I teach taking care of your body. Why be given 90 years in existence, but only manage your body for 40? So now the first 40 of your years, you were able to do a lot of things, but because you mismanage your body, that the latter part of your life, you start finding out that because you failed to take care of the thing that is going to carry you through life, it's now revealing that you did not maintain the vehicle that's going to carry you to your destiny. So you got to get, what's this, fitness, and last but not fun. Somebody said, well, I'm not enjoying life. Why are you really enjoying life? Ooh, you live in the Bahamas, you got to do some jet ski, you got to do some parasailing, you got to go swim in the water. Come on, man, go shoot down some pigeons. Oh, I can't say shoot pigeons because people don't really kill birds like that no more. Okay, you know, when I was growing up, you could have plucked down some pigeons just for fun, but I'm not gonna say that. Okay, no plucking the pigeons down. All right. Okay, sorry everyone who's loving the pigeons. Okay, but here's the deal. You got to figure out something. Okay, go running on a park with your dog. You know what I'm saying? Clean your car and put on some music in the front of your yard and dance the calypso. And they say, oh, she dancing by herself, she going crazy. No, you don't know how to enjoy life until you could do it by yourself. Okay? When you are able to enjoy life by yourself, that's when you're living. So I'm not having any fun. And there are people who, you know, I know a lot of our audiences in the Bahamas and others internationally, but there are people who, I have to go to Florida to have fun. Why you got to go to Florida? You know how many people come into the Bahamas to have fun? I lived in Dallas, as I close this talk. I lived in Dallas for 20 years. There's the second most beautiful park in the Dallas metropolitan area, 10 minutes from my home. And I lived here for 20 years and didn't know it existed. Didn't know the park existed. I've been here for 20 years, didn't know the park existed because I was working so much and not realizing a part of the journey is supposed to be enjoying the journey. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. A part of the journey is enjoying the journey. Oh my goodness, to make the money and not enjoy the journey, to buy the home and not enjoy the home, to buy the car and never open the sun roof up. Oh my goodness, come on, to live on an island and never go to the beach, to live in a city and never go to a park. Come on, to live and drive past a nice restaurant, a nice resort and not go ahead and declare, I'm gonna go stay there for the weekend. I'm going to enjoy the journey. Andrea, I'm going to stop right there and take some questions.
Okay, before you take questions, we just want to ask everyone if they could quickly turn on their camera so we can do our picture for social media very quickly. And then we'll go back to the chat. I saw a few questions were dropped in the chat. I hope the Shura park on the side of the road. I saw she was driving. Okay, any more cameras turning on? Tashura has 15 minutes to reach Atlantis. Okay, I think, okay, 3 more cameras coming on. Thank you. Okay, Marvin wasn't ready. Jackie, you coming on or no? All right, guess not. Okay, that's 4. So I think we're good to go. But before, okay, let's get the questions in the chat. I think they had one from Saba. Saba, do you want us to read your question or you want to come off mic? Come off mute.
I am off of mute.
Okay.
So Ricardo, first of all, Andrea, thank you so much for bringing such a wonderful speaker. And Ricardo, this is so timely for me. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate every word that you said and how much it resonated with me. I am at a crossroad right now, and I'm doing an awful lot of like self-evaluation, life evaluation. This could not have come at a better time. And I am stuck in that undecided. I know what I don't want. I don't know what I want. And I'm having a tough time figuring out my why. I mean, I know at my core, like I am a good person and I work hard, but what is my fate? What is my destiny? What is my why? How do I search for that? How do I find it?
An exceptional question. I'm really glad to hear that you're enjoying the session this evening. I believe that your why is connected once again to your passion. I think the thing that you enjoy the most. The unfortunate thing is most of us have not seen that to be profitable or will be able to bring back to us what we needed to bring to sustain us as in regards to life in general. But I believe that your why is often connected to the thing that you can do day in and day out, the thing that you love to do. You may have never thought of it. And the challenge with a lot of people, why they don't embrace this, is because it's not being taught to be something that may be respectable. It's like you may have grown up, you might have been raised in a home where they said, you know, go and get your master's and work at a Fortune 500 company, only to love sewing. You love upholstery. You love cooking. You love art. You love, you know, landscaping. You love, and then there's just so many things we could do that literally you could wake up every day and just do it. But all depending on how we've been raised, how we've been influenced, we sometimes think, oh, I can't do that. Not for a living. What people gonna think? And see, that's how you know you're limiting yourself from ever living in the place where you belong. What people gonna think? But it's the thing you love. It's the thing you thoroughly enjoy. But that's one of the questions you have to ask. The next thing is, I tell people, stay away from the things you don't enjoy and give more attention to the things you really, really enjoy. And then watch this. As you give more attention to the thing you really, really enjoy, your why will reveal itself in the midst of that. Never commit to what you don't naturally do well, because obviously your purpose is not connected to what you don't naturally do well. Your purpose is connected to what you naturally do well. And enhance that and keep enhancing that. And what that will do is, the Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. And so if you would just enhance what you're really good at, I bake cake. Well, be the best cake baker in the world. You know, oh, I have a tendency of cooking. I love cooking, then cook. But I don't think I can make a living by it. A lot of people are making a living by cooking. You know, a lot of people. I take pictures. People make a lot of money. I just booked a photographer the other day. She charged me $285 for an hour. I said, woo, you're talking about next level. $285 an hour. And so, but she loves taking pictures, and she's presented herself in a way over time to be respected in that space, and now could charge $285 an hour. So I would say give yourself to the thing you really, really enjoy. And the next season of your life, move away from the things you don't enjoy. If you don't like cutting your grass, let somebody else do it for $40. If you don't like cleaning your car, let somebody else do it for $20. If you don't like cleaning your house, let somebody else do that for $40. And then you zone in on the things you really enjoy and let that be the thing that enhances and take your life to the next level.
What if you like a lot of things, but you can't find what you love, what like there's a lot of things that you enjoy,
Yep.
but how do you dig deep to find like the passion, the hey,
Yep.
this is what I want. This is the one thing.
Yep. Yep. I like the question as well. Apostle Paul said it this way: all things are permissible to be, but not all things are beneficial. I love cleaning cars. I really like cleaning cars. I like cutting grass. I love cleaning houses. I mean, I love cleaning my own place. There's a lot of things I really enjoy doing. But what I found is there is something that is connected to what I do that helps humanity. It sets me apart when it comes to my distinguished position in the world as a man. And I says, you know what? That's how you start to line yourself up. All things are permissible to me, but not all things are beneficial. There are things I have to identify that I'm really good at. And I may even be able to invest in those things later. But if I really do the work to identify what am I really, really passionate about, that list could start finding its a smaller list. And last but not least, I'll say this: that's where life coaches come in. That's where some form of a mentor, because here's the deal: someone is assigned to help you. I've said it in my talk. Here's what you have to do then as well. You have to realize someone could see what you should be doing, and you have to have the trust and the belief in someone else seeing what you can't see to help you get where you're trying to go. And that's all. That's the third part that I will say. Connect with someone who is close enough to you to be able to assess you and tell you, I don't know why in the world you haven't opened a seamstress store yet. I don't know why in the world you ain't baking cakes on the weekend yet. I don't know why in the world you haven't opened up your own maid service yet, because nobody home in the Bahamas is as clean as yours. So I don't know why in the world you haven't written that book yet, because, I mean, you edit everybody else's book, but you haven't written one for yourself. Just look for the person that you have access to who's capable of helping you. If they have a paid service to help you, let them help you and pay for the service. If you just have access to them, in that if they could be a mentor and influencer to help navigate you, I'm of the belief that we all have access to someone who can get us on the track to where we're trying to go. We just have to submit ourselves to that process. And unfortunately, sometimes the older we get, the more difficult it is, because we feel as though independently we're of ourselves, and who could tell me what I want? Okay? And that's the reason why when you're being tutored because you could not do the passing of the exam by yourself. Now, if you really want to pass the exam, as an adult, we have something kids don't have. As a child, when you go to a tutor, the parents say, shut your mouth up and let her help you, because you're going to pass these BJCs, okay? You're going to pass these BJCSE. But as an adult, we have the struggle of going back and forth with the tutors that are assigned to help us. And you just have to tell yourself, I've lived too long to not have done this right. I need this person to help me. That's why it has to be a trusted and respected voice. They have what you need, and I'm going to trust them to help me get where I'm trying to go.
Okay, I hope that answered your question, Sabo. Does anyone else have a question? Or Omar, do we have any more questions in the chat?
No, ma'am. Coach Ricardo, I actually thank you very much for what you are talking about and the questions that Saba has made, because in my case, I don't know my why. I really don't. And sometimes people, I hear people talk about the why or their purpose or what they were made to do. I don't know what it is. I don't question it either sometimes. I don't look into it. I just, at the time, I may be doing something, it feels right. I go with it, I stick with it until I get to a point in which I find something else. But I think to Saba's point, at times I find myself really wondering, what is it that I am really meant to be? And if the path or the choices that I've taken are really fulfilling that and I'm not noticing it, or if there is still something that will make that, like you said, when you get closer to what you enjoy, that it will reveal itself. Hopefully I find it sooner or later.
Let me give you this advice with that. It is possible to keep drifting and never aim towards anything. One of the greatest prayers you can have is, God, reveal to me my life's vision, because vision is the end at the beginning. It is your ability to see by 50, this is what I want to accomplish. By 60, this is what I want to have accomplished. Now, what happens is when you get vision is 10 years from now, I'd like to be there. Then what happens is every day you have to now make up in your mind to do what is necessary to getting towards that. Some of you, if you said, I want 10 years from now to be a doctor, then that would mean I have to go back to school. If you don't already find yourself having been in school, that's going to require a degree. Right? You're not going to be a doctor without having gone to school. So you have to now realize your vision will determine your discipline. It will determine the book you read. It'll determine, and what it'll do is it'll start to reveal how you're showing up in the world daily. Here's what else comes with that. Over time, you can start to either find that I'm committed to doing something that which is my vision, but then in my pursuit to my vision, I can start finding my love. But you have to be aiming towards something. What has happened though within our society today, a lot of people are like drifting boats. You drop them in the ocean and they're just drifting. And it's a beautiful thing to just go with the waves or just whatever. But the challenge with that is the wave doesn't operate just floating like that. There will be rough days, and there's going to be reefs and rocks and that will beat you up, and the ability to have precision and focus and a destination causes you to navigate life different. And that's the reason why I'm a big believer that if purpose hasn't been revealed, which is the why, then vision should be the second thing that should be connected to you. In other words, the thing that I'm going after, which is, that's going to give me discipline, that's going to give me drive, it's going to give me a commitment to showing up on a daily basis and being actively engaged in life. And then the prayer to that is, God, may whatever I do be the thing that I enjoy the most to do. And I'm going to study myself. A part of my talk also, Omar, was to do the study on oneself. A lot of times, we could have turned off our minds in relation to our passion because somewhere along the line, the fire went out. The fire went out in elementary school, and you get to the point where you say, I don't care. Where the fire went out in middle school or high school and college, where you say, it don't matter. And we don't say it like that, but how we show up in the world, it can be that way. And so it's important that we do the research and identify, why am I not passionate? Because the truth is, something about me should be passionate. Where did I turn off the signal, the indicator that I should be driven? So studying self is huge. I wouldn't just merely exist. I don't teach anybody. No one should just merely exist. Everyone should be knowing themselves enough to identify where's my joy coming from, or why don't I have joy? Where is my what is my vision? Why don't I have something I want to see? Do I want a house or do I want a house? Do I want to make 6 figures or do it doesn't matter? Do I want to be digital or don't I want to be digital? What I want to do with my body. And then if I don't have anything, why? Going back to that, that's therapeutical. That's psychological. That's at a very deeper core that I'm still working on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Coach Ricardo. It was an honor and a privilege to have you here with us. And I'm sure that everyone in attendance got their nuggets and their principles to start implementing in their lives to make sure that they're living effectively. Before you leave, can you close us in a word of prayer? But after the prayer, please stay tuned. We have a fun activity. It's just that Coach Ricardo has another engagement that he has to get to. So after he leaves, we're going to have an activity. We're going to do a retrospective based on this conversation. What should you start doing? What should you stop doing? And what you should continue doing? So we're going to have Omar lead us in an idea board, and you're going to put up stickies, and we're going to discuss what it is that you need to stop doing in your life right now, what you need to start doing to live effectively, and what you should continue doing. Given the 5 principles and everything that Coach Ricardo has said, we want to see your contributions to that idea board. So we're going to let Coach Ricardo lead us in prayer, and then he's going to leave, and then we're going to go into our activity. So heads bow, eyes closed.
Let me say this before I hit Bowers close, and I'll pray right now, Andrea. Ruth said something when she put an LOL with that. I want to answer that. She says, talking about why can't I get the same energy for one, which is fitness. Oh, you're so funny, Ruth. And I would say two things, Ruth. It's either fair. I would say fair can get you discipline, or love can get you discipline. And let me tell you why I use those two words. Fair, when you walk to the hospital and you realize that if you keep eating the way you're eating, that you have the potential to find yourself with what I call the unreversibles, which is when the doctor said, if you can't do nothing and you have to live this way for the rest of your life, fear would have you to change your behavior. Fear of seeing how someone ended up because they chose not to take care of their health. That's fear. Love is, I like myself too much. So I like myself too much to see myself just fall away. And so it's either fear or love. Either one could be the motivator to help you go, but you need to find one. Love yourself enough to keep yourself fit, or be fearful of the fact that if I don't do right with my health, that it can come back and bite me. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for each and every person that's on this live right now. We talked about living life effectively. It is, I believe, your goal to see all of us at our best. And I believe at our best is living life effectively. I pray, God, that whatever needs to be captured, discovered, or worked through, each person will find that for themselves and will be able to incorporate the practices and the behavior to bring themselves to a place where they could truly say with confidence, I'm living life effectively. I pray for a renewed mind. I pray for the right association. I pray for a study and an understanding as to who we are and why we are at this particular point in our lives. I pray, God, for this platform and the service that Andrea and her team is doing to help people. We pray, God, that at the end of the day, we all will become our best selves on our journey to living life to the fullest. It is in Christ's name I pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Coach Ricardo, for being with us. My fur baby wants to get into the conversation. So I'm going to go on mute, and Omar, you can take over with our activity. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. Good evening, everyone. In the chat, I will be posting the link to idea boards, and I will also share my screen. Now, like Andrea said, what we're going to be doing is a quick internal retrospective, meaning you personally will put what you understand based on Coach Ricardo's conversation. What is it that you are going to stop doing? What is it that you're going to start doing? And from what you're doing, that you understand that you can continue doing. Everybody see my screen? I'm showing the idea boards, right? Okay. So for those who haven't used idea boards, this is really simple. Right now, all you have to do is click on the plus sign, and all you have to is start typing. And then as soon as you type, that sticky will be saved to that board.
Ma, do we have a time box for populating the board?
We have, yes, sorry, I did not say that, but I will give people 3 more minutes. Okay, we got 1 more minute left. Okay, time is up. Now, before we continue with the retrospective, for those of you who entered your own items, you have the ability to export this to PDF or Excel so that you can keep this for your own tracking, and you can put it on your wall, on your mirror, kitchen, bathroom, I don't know, wherever you feel that you will see this and remind yourself daily of what you are committing to stop, start, or to keep on doing. So everybody has that ability. Now, we can do 2 things. Somebody can come off mute if you feel comfortable with it and talk about at least one of the items that you had placed, or you can select and with clicking on the plus button right here on which item most resonates with you. What do you guys prefer?
It sounds like voting since nobody spoke up.
Okay, then let's go with voting. What you're gonna do is just click on the cards, either yours or placed by others that most resonated with you.
And how many votes did each person get? 1 per column or?
Let's go 2 per column.
So hi, Andrea, we can just go ahead and share.
Yes, please.
So one of the things that I definitely want to stop doing is taking on too much and spreading myself thin. And for me, that means being able to, and it kind of ties in with the next point, which is what is the thing that I must stop doing? I mean, not stop doing, but start doing. And I definitely need to start saying no, because I do have a big heart, and you want to help and support, and you want to grow. And I think too, there's a part of me that just wants to grow. And being around, and Coach Ricardo was talking about environment and being in the right environment. And anytime I know that I can be in a place or be around individuals I can learn from, to me, that is like, wow. And so it's hard to walk away, but we also learned tonight that, you still have to be able to pretty much use wisdom and decide exactly, what is for you at that particular time and what is not. So that's definitely, and then the last thing was, what do I want to continue doing? Definitely continue to work hard, and being able to, strengthen my work ethics and being disciplined and being focused.
Thank you, Jackie, for sharing. Anybody else want to come off mute and talk about what resonates more with them or what they want to stop, start, and continue doing?
Well, I can add to what Jackie said. And I think for me, it's very important that I am aware of when I'm being busy and when I'm being productive. And I strive to be productive and not busy. And so in doing that self-evaluation, I prioritize what brings me the most value, what brings others the most value, whatever I do, and the best opportunities for me to learn and grow. And I don't like to have a full calendar to just say, I have stuff to do today. And then when I look at it, I'm like, well, what is this accomplishing? Like, how is this getting me anywhere on my life's journey and fulfilling my purpose? And so in doing that, I think, Jackie, the best thing to do is just do a self-retrospective and evaluate whatever it is that's taking up your time, because time is very valuable. Once it's passed, we can't get it back. So once you evaluate what it is that I am giving my time to, and how is this benefiting me, or how is this benefiting a community or helping me along my life's journey, then you find that some things you need to cut back. Now, it may have been where at some point you have been achieving great value from whatever it is you're doing, but at some point, something else is going to come up that's going to give you more value at that point in time versus some other stuff. And so sometimes it just means cutting back or cutting out and just making sure that you always have time for yourself, because self-maintenance is the best maintenance. You can't be burnout and trying to be everything to everyone. You have to take that, like Coach Miller said, that family time. You have to take that family time and give that family priority over just being busy, because a lot of persons will give you, say, come and do this speaking engagement, come and do this talk show, come and do this live, this, and you want to accept everything because you want to be everywhere and you want to give your contribution to everyone. But you can't be everywhere every time and be everything to everyone. You have to be able to say no, like Jackie said, be able to say no. And that is hard for a lot of us, including myself. I struggle with saying no, and I struggle with hearing no, because I want to be volunteering for everything and I want to learn everything. And you have to be aware of your WIP limits. So your work in progress, you have to monitor it and make sure that you're avoiding burnout. And we have a few more minutes before we close our meetup for this evening. So if anyone wants to share anything about how they felt about the conversation with Coach Ricardo, the tips that he gave, and how you plan on implementing it in your life moving forward, then the mic is open.
Personally, I'm not fond of coaches. I think that it's too many questions and I want an answer. But I took it as a lesson And for some reason, I found myself today in a very receptive manner in what he spoke about, talked to me in the sense that, like one of the cards that says dig deeper to find myself and my passion. It's something that it is good to know, because if you find your passion, people around you will feel it. People will want to be with you around that passion because they know you'll give it your all. But at the same time, it gives you that why or that purpose, that feel that you are fulfilled or that you are complete doing what you have. So I really find that the session was at a great time, and I'm glad to hear that Saba and other people put comments or questions, but it was a very good session.
Thank you, Omar. I agree. I am leery of coaches as well, because they have the tendency to cause you to ask yourself questions. They do not tell you what to do. They cause you to pull out those answers out of yourself. And so they're more of facilitators of powerful questions to get you to think, versus someone who's going to tell you what to do. Like, this is the steps that you need to do to get to this point. No, coaching doesn't do that. They ask you and they say, well, how do you plan on accomplishing this? Like, what do you want to do in the next 2 years? How are you going to accomplish this goal? And then they said, well, what are the obstacles? What are the challenges that are hindering you from accomplishing these goals? And so you have to dig deep and think. And so they don't supply you with the answers. They just coach you through finding it and bringing it out of yourself, because I guess they feel you know what is best for you. You know what your challenges are. You know what your goals are. And basically, you just need help bringing it to, manifesting it. And so that's what the coaching does. And like you said, it's good to have coaches and mentors and persons to guide you along your journey. And I find it's helpful to have conversations with persons who have already gone on the journey that you're starting out on. Like with me, with community building, it's an excellent resource to have conversations with other persons who have built communities and say, well, what were your challenges? What did you find most useful? How did you build this? Or, how did you accomplish this goal? How long did it take you? Because sometimes we expect things to happen overnight. And, when you're living in your purpose, it doesn't happen that way. Some things take years to develop, but yet we figure, we're coming with something new and we want it to happen overnight, and we want our membership to grow. Like yesterday, we want 100 persons following and joining these meetups. And my thing about it is, in everything, celebrate small wins. Just think of it as a small win. Like I would say, if 5 persons come to this meetup, that's a win, right? Not including myself. So if 6 persons in this room with me, that's a win, and I'm celebrating. And so every meetup we've had has been a victory because we've had more than 6 persons. And so that's really how you need to take life, in small increments and bite-sized chunks, and not try to put it in where you're trying to run a marathon when you should just be running a little sprint. Be cognizant that, the world wasn't built in one day. And so when we try to accomplish our goals, we have to be strategic, and we have to have a plan, and we have to celebrate every victory and know that every small success is a success in the right direction. There will be some challenges and there will be some setbacks, but to keep moving forward. That's the most important thing I tell myself every day. Take the next step. Don't look at what you're trying to accomplish in 5 years from now. Look at what you're trying to accomplish tomorrow and take that next step. And so that's what has been helping me to not become overwhelmed and burn out and focus too much on what needs to be accomplished. Just focus on what I need to do today and what I need to do tomorrow, and learn from what I did yesterday. And so we may have an ending, a meeting that ends early tonight if no one else is going to be contributing. So does anyone else have anything they want to share? Some life lessons, some reflections? I guess we're closing early. Well, if no one else has anything to contribute, I am going to officially call this session of the Bahamas Project Management Community, our meetup for September 23rd, to a close. And I thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to you attending our next meetup, which is scheduled for, oh my goodness, when is our next meetup? 2 weeks from now, which is the 7th of October, where we'll be hearing from Simone Bowe, speaking on some mistakes leaders should never make. I know I just botched that topic, but it's close to it. Mistakes leaders should never make. That sounds closer to it. Okay, so Simone will be with us on October 7th. And after that, we're having our next speaker would be on the 21st of October. Hold on, I'm mixing up my date. Simone is on the 14th of October. And our next speaker will be on the 28th, because we meet on the 2nd and the 4th Thursday. So Simone is on the 14th, and we have Dr. Rodney Smith, the president of the College of the Bahamas, joining us on the 28th of October. I think I got it right now.
Yes.
Omar shaking his head.
Yeah. We have Simone on the 14th and Dr. Rodney on the 28th. And then we have Jason Orlosk on the 11th of November.
Yes, so please visit our website. All of the events that we have planned for the rest of 2021 is on the website. We are in the process of putting those events on our meetup page. We actually have a meetup page now, so you can join us through Meetup. The link is dropped in the chat. You can join our group and join our events through Meetup. So we're going to be posting all of the events for the remainder of this year on Meetup. Before the end of this week, all of them should be posted, and you can join those through Meetup or continue joining us through the website. The events are there as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I try to stretch this meetup as long as I can, but we're not going to get to 7:30 at this point. So I hope that you took a few minutes to complete our feedback survey. That's very important that we know how you felt and what you thought about our meetup and how we can continue to improve and get better every time that we meet. The survey was dropped in the chat a few times. I'll drop it again. And we thank you so much for sticking around to the end. And I hope that you enjoyed our session tonight. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening and get some dinner if you haven't eaten this yet. And we will see you back here on the 14th of October. Good night.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Omar.
Saba.
Everyone, Later Sawa.
Bye.